Hi and welcome to another channeling video. It's such a pleasure being able to do this for you guys, and I'm so happy that there are people who actually benefit from this. That gives me so much joy. Thank you for all the comments in the last video. I really appreciate all the beautiful comments. I've chosen to go with your questions this time from the past video. And for this video as well, I'm gonna put down a comment where you can put your questions underneath, because your questions are so fantastic. I really love them. So if you're inspired to ask something, please write it down. I really need to know what you guys want to know so I can be of benefit to you guys. Thank you for joining me for this wonderful cooperation, because I do feel like we're doing this together. And if you are a follower of these videos, and if you especially listen to them weekly, please let me know. It just means a lot. It just makes me happy to see that there are actually people that follow it, because I myself am a big fan of these kinds of videos when other people do them. So I'm going to get right to the questions, because I don't have a new offer for this week, and I apologize for that. It's a period where I have a lot of stuff to do. My schedule is really packed, so I'm not going to have time to focus much on any particular service. However, I am still available if you are wanting to order something like a personal reading or a report or anything. I am still available. I just can't do them in the scale that I would have to do if I was to give you a special offer. So your questions for this time, it's a mixed bag, but I love them. I think they're really, really valuable and really useful. And I think a lot of people will find this interesting and helpful. You know, for me, I also, I learn a lot from these channelings. And to some extent, I do try to take the guidance on board. So for example, when I've been receiving the guidance about not watching too much news and being very mindful of what we consume and where we put our focus, I've taken that so seriously, and that's why I don't entertain my mind with negative stuff, because it's a choice we make, and I've chosen to sort of detox what I consume, you know, mentally, emotionally, and stuff like that. However, some of the guidance is a little harder, but I do try as much as possible to follow the guidance, and sometimes I do have to re-listen to the videos to get the guidance again, because as I'm channeling, I'm just the conduit, so it just comes through me. And sometimes, you know, in my real life, it can be a little hard to follow some of this stuff. Anyway, let's get into it. So the first question is healing low self-esteem. So how do we heal low self-esteem? I think this is a pandemic in itself, low self-esteem. So how do we do when we have low self-esteem? How do we heal it? It depends on what caused your low self-esteem. Sometimes it's because of a person. And if it's the case that the low self-esteem was because of a person putting us down, we need to recognize that their view of us is only a reflection of how they feel about themselves. So we have to put that back where it belongs and recognize that whenever anybody makes us feel less worthy, it is because they feel less worthy. And it has nothing to do with us. If anything, them expressing something like that to us means that our self-esteem made them feel like they were lacking. And it's a defense mechanism to try to put us down in order for themselves to feel better. So if the self-esteem is due to another person, know that there is nothing wrong with you, but that they are doubtful of their own value. Okay, what about if self-esteem comes because of other reasons? What if it comes from ourselves? If it is because of yourself, then it usually is a habitual thinking pattern. And in real terms, it would require a habit in order to rectify the low self-esteem. For example, it will be helpful to make it a habit to write down positive qualities that you appreciate in yourself. And do that regularly or every time you need it in order to remind yourself of your worth. You may feel that your self-esteem has not completely shifted, but for every time you do it, you train your mind and create positive, helpful habits rather than negative ones. So the habit will have an accumulated effect, and you will notice a difference if you do this habitually. Just do not expect a major shift in just one time. Just keep practicing and put your focus to your positive qualities. Okay, so will that help? Yes, that will take out some of the toxic, negative thinking habits over time. And you will see a gradual lift in your self-esteem. Thank you. That was a very practical suggestion. Thanks. Because I think a lot of people appreciate when we get advice on what to do, because changing your mindset can be really tricky. So I think it's good when we get, guidance on practical things we can actually do. And this was a simple one as well. I think I'm going to do this one. I do this for other people, like write down stuff I appreciate about other people, but I don't do that for myself. I think I'm going to start doing that for myself. We'll see how that goes, but that's what I'm thinking now, but let's see. Okay. Then we have two other interesting questions that aren't really personal, but are there such things as clones? So I've heard of clones. I've heard of human clones, and I kind of believe it, so I want to give that disclaimer. I feel like it's true, but let's see what Spirit has to say about it. Are there such things as clones? Yes. But not exact clones. What does that mean? Like, do they have the same consciousness as the original, or what is the difference? The clones will have similar characteristics, but a different soul. So they will be like a fake product. It will look the same on the outside, but it will not have the same qualities on the inside. Okay. So if you clone a person, will they have, what will they be like? Will they inherit all the DNA memory and stuff? Yes, they will be more mechanic in their reactions to things. They will be like a bad copy of the original. So how is it different? They will appear to be the same, but they will not have as much insight and wisdom and soul growth as the original. Okay. But what people want to know is, are they real? They are real. There are a few clones. So what do they do? Do they live like a normal life? No, they need a lot of maintenance. They need a lot of care and maintenance to function. They are not completely self-sufficient. Okay. Interesting. I think I would need some more information or more questions to know what to dig for in terms of that. But it's still fascinating. Next question is, are chemtrails real? They are, and there are different kinds of chemtrails. Some are very harmful. Some are not very harmful. Okay, give me more on that. They are now much less harmful than they used to be due to people questioning them. There have been types of chemtrails that have had to be withdrawn due to further research into them. There are only few instances left where the very harmful chemtrails are still being used. There are a lot more restrictions around that now, because some years back there was a lot of attention to the harmful effects. So if we see chemtrails, what do we need to know about it? You need not to worry about it, because everything in the universe is in perfect order. It is unlikely to be very harmful nowadays, and what little effect they might have on you is still a part of the bigger plan. There will always be things in life that have a potential negative influence on you, but you will only draw to yourself that which you are in alignment with. And so you need only to tend to your alignment with the positive. And if you do, you will have a strong shield against that which is harmful to you. You can be immune to harmful things by keeping your consciousness and vibration high and positive. So in other words, the better you feel, the more you are protected, is what I'm seeing. But they put it in other words, but what I was seeing and feeling is that the better you feel, the more you have immunity, in a sense. Hope that was helpful. That was comforting for me to know, because I've heard some bad things about chemtrails. Okay, next question is, what happens to our souls when we sleep? Isn't that interesting? That's a great question. I do want to thank, I think her name was Virginia Moncada, for providing wonderful questions. I think I've used her questions before as well. I think I have one or more of her questions now. So I want to thank Virginia Moncada for providing wonderful questions that are of benefit to everybody. Thank you. And keep them coming, please. Please keep it coming. Okay. What happens to our souls when we sleep? We go into, oh, this is so hard to put in words, another dimension. Oh, this is really hard to put into words, but what I'm seeing is that we're going into like another kind of dimension. And I'm seeing like, it's like a fantasy place, but it's a real place. And it's like where everything is possible. I don't know how to put that in words. So what is that place? That is the home of the soul. You go back to the home of the soul. Oh, so what's the purpose of that? Why do we go there? You are only visiting the earth reality dimension, and you go back to your real home when you sleep. Waking up is like being at work. In your reality, you have a home, and for most people, you have a workplace. At home is where you relax. It is where your heart is. But you go to work to get stuff done because it's a necessity and you have a purpose for being there. When you are done with work, you go home to relax and be yourself. Work might require you to do things you don't want to do or be in a way that you prefer not to be. And when you come home, you can relax. Sleeping is like coming home, but for the soul. When you are awake, you are dealing with the constant unease that your reality dimension brings to you. There is always unease about something. There is always a movement somewhere, something to think about, something to do, something to keep in mind. When you sleep, you release all those things and you come home and you can relax. And everything is perfect and you have peace. Ooh. So what happens if we have like insomnia? What is the cause of that? I've struggled with insomnia when I had Uranus in my 12th house. Oh my God, I could not sleep. It was a wonderful spiritual time, but I just could not sleep. Okay, so what happens if we have insomnia? That means you are too attached to your earthly reality dimension. And you are keen to do your job, and you have less chance of recuperating your strength, which you do when you sleep. Okay, interesting. I think we touched on this before about how being awake is like coming to work. That's interesting because Saturn rules reality and Saturn also rules work. And I don't know, I feel like, well, Neptune does rule sleep. Neptune is where there are no obligations, and it's interesting. It's very interesting. I feel like I have the astrologer's occupational hazard where everything is in terms of planets. I connect everything to like planets and signs. It's funny. It's hard to speak to people who are not into astrology because I can't just say, oh, I'm having a 12th house transit, so I need to sleep a lot. I can't say that to people. But you guys know what I mean. Okay, next question. Let's check time. Yeah, we're doing okay with time. If someone, oh, this was a wonderful question. This was from Virginia. I think it was Virginia Moncada. I hope I got your name right. If someone does something bad to me, will they get the same thing back in the sense of karma? So is our understanding of karma accurate? So if someone does something bad to us, will they get the same thing back? Yes is the short answer. Okay, but in what way? And does the exact same thing happen to them? Is like what? This is a complex question. When you do something bad to another person, you know it and you feel it in your soul. And you carry that heaviness and attract according to that heaviness. So when you know you've done something wrong, you will not allow yourself to feel worthy. You may, on the surface, have positive things happen to you, but you will not truly feel the bliss that comes from these good things. You will hold yourself back from feeling worthy and lovable. The same thing does come back, but not necessarily the same event, but the same feeling. In energy terms, it will be the same thing, but in your tangible terms, it may not be the exact same thing. The event of someone doing something bad to you usually is one part of a long chain of events that this other person is living through. They have had a bad reaction to things that happened to them. And instead of forgiving and instead of growing in consciousness, they chose to express this pain outwards in the form of bad behavior. And until they make peace in their soul, they will continue this chain of events of doing people wrong and receiving bad. Not necessarily that other people will treat them bad, although that can happen, but in terms of suffering from inability to accept joy and bliss and inner peace. They will be tormented to some level on the inside. That's why you may not see the results of this so-called karma, but you can trust that it is there. You will be able to observe that this person is a miserable person who is unable to be truly happy on the inside, regardless of how they may portray themselves. You will notice that the valuable feelings of inner peace will not be there. They may smile and they may celebrate and they may appear happy, but they will have no peace. And so they will have a constant pain or dissatisfaction or agony on the inside because they truly do not feel worthy of bliss. So how should we think or react, or what should we do if someone does us wrong and we're unable to rectify the situation? I mean, I don't believe in revenge, but what do we need to know? How do we deal with when people do us wrong? What do we do? Know that it had a purpose for you specifically. It is not that this person chose this action and you were a passive recipient of their bad behavior. You are a co-creator of your life. You are the authority on your life, and you are given a set of circumstances, but you choose how to deal with them. In that sense, you are not powerless. You can, if you choose, with your attitude, turn a negative thing into a blessing, depending on what you let the situation make of you. You can use negative events as springboards to propel you even further into soul growth and bliss and empowerment, depending on your attitude and how you choose to change the situation. You get to decide that this thing that happened, because of this thing, I will make my life better and I will make myself better. If you know that you have that power and you do that, then you will see how events will support you in that conviction and that dedication to make this something positive. You do get to decide that. Most of you are not aware and you feel powerless and you feel victimized in your lives. But you can decide that you will take your power back and turn the situation into something positive by any means, any positive means necessary. You can decide that this will be positive for you, and it will be. Make the other person irrelevant. Take your power back. It may have happened to you, but You are in a playing field where other players can choose to play however they like, but what you do in the game, or what you do with your circumstances, is your power. You will never be able to control the circumstances, but you can control what you make of them and what you get out of the things that happen around you. So you can choose that no matter the circumstances, or no matter how the other players in this playing field will act, you will achieve your goals and you will grow and be better constantly. Ooh, that was deep. I'm taking that one on board. I think I needed to hear that as well. Don't we all? Every now and then. Okay, the next one is about codependency. How do we heal codependency? Now, this too is something that I have struggled with, and though I've healed it to a great extent, I'm realistic in the sense that that is a pattern for me, the codependency, taking responsibility for other people's well-being, even if I don't have the power to affect it. How do we heal codependency? Codependency comes from caring about other people. But you forget that when you take responsibility for other people's well-being, you are forgetting that they have a powerful guidance too. They have powerful inner knowing too. And they have a sacred path, an important path that they must walk. You, in your intention to help them or fix their problems, would be discounting their own guidance and taking away their opportunity for growth, therefore allowing them to remain immature and hence enable them in their immaturity. Growth is uncomfortable. Some people like to verbally complain about the discomfort that comes with growth, but that is not a cue to fix their problems. In fact, the only thing you can really do to help them is to care and express that care in whatever way you prefer, such as listening, empathizing, expressing your appreciation, and being around and being available. But you cannot take their problem away. You can trust that if you do take the problem away that they are complaining about, they will hurry up and find a new problem for you to try to fix, and therefore magnifying the issue of codependency. The attitude you must keep when codependent feelings arise in you is perfect trust that no matter how much they are complaining about their issue, they are aligned with their path and everything is fine. I think this was more about enabling. There are other aspects of codependency. Okay, so what about the other aspects of codependency? You are, as the title suggests, feeling like you depend on other people and that other people depend on you. This is not the case. You are lacking in the trust and knowing that you are fully supported by the universe. In every moment, circumstances will adapt themselves to your specific situation. You are doing yourself a disservice by depending on other people completely. What you can do for each other is be supportive and caring. That is of real benefit. But depending on other people for your joy or for your life or for any particular thing that you need will only enhance the feeling of not being enough, of feeling insecure, of feeling fearful. So what do we do? How can we practice this away? Is there a practical example you can give? Practice trusting that everyone is supported, and you will notice that things will find solutions by themselves in unexpected ways. Whether it is you or another person, you will find what you need, usually in unexpected ways. Okay, can I get more on that? Because I want to practice this. Can I get more on practicing? Relax. Relax. Do less. I know that definitely applies to me, but I hope it applies to other people that need to hear it. What else with codependency? Support is all you can give, and support is wonderful. But that is the only benefit you can provide for another person. Everything else is taken care of by the universe. Support is the only benefit you can give to each other. Caring and being available and empathizing and listening is all you can do to help. If you do anything else, it will not be helpful, and it will likely get in the way of what they really need. That was simple, yet so profound. I feel really grateful for that. I really needed to hear that. I trust that those of you who needed to hear that it really hit home. Okay, we have one more question on the other end of the coin, other side of the coin. Are some people meant to be alone? What about people who have been alone for a long time? And is there really someone out there for everybody? No. Some people are not meant to be alone, but you may have longer periods of time where you are not connecting with anybody on a deep romantic level. Usually it is because it is more beneficial for you to be alone for that time. There may be more growing that can be done by yourself. I mean, I was single for 10 years, so I can totally relate to this. I was single for 10 years. Like 10 years is not a short time, it's a very long time. So I can totally empathize. Okay, what is the purpose for being alone for? And please be kind, because this is public, please be kind. Okay, what is the purpose for people being alone for longer periods of time? There is a lot of processing that needs to happen for that person. And when they are done processing things for themselves, they will effortlessly bump into someone who can give them the experience of a romantic relationship with cooperation. So how do people know when it's time for them? Or can you give me something that would be comforting to those people that are living through that now? It will happen. Keep your faith. Know that you are not seeing it right now because it is not what you need right now. When you get to the stage where it is what you need and you recognize it as something you need, then it will happen for you. So what can they do during that time? If they feel lonely, what can they do? You need to know that you must fill up your life with pleasurable things, because when you enter a relationship, it will not fulfill all of your needs. The more you feel fulfilled on your own, the better a relationship can be for you. If you are feeling a lack of joy in your life and you are not seeking pleasure and love in other ways, then you are not actively opening yourself up for the pleasure that can come from a relationship. Okay. Oh, I was a little bit... Okay, I'm going to try and gather my thoughts. So, what else can they do? Seek fun and enjoyment and pleasure out of life. If you seek pleasure, then it will come to you in a myriad of ways, including in a relationship. But if you are feeling miserable and looking for a relationship to fix that sense of feeling miserable, then the relationship cannot make you happy, cannot give you what you need, and you will not be aligning with the idea of a relationship either. But if you seek pleasure and fun and enjoyment and fulfillment, then lots of things, including a relationship, will come to you, and likely it will be opportunities for relationships in more ways than one. So, it is not about the relationship, but what you are expecting from a relationship, such as love, pleasure, enjoyment. Those things you can seek here and now. And start there. And once you do that, you will be fulfilled whether or not there is a relationship, and relationship opportunities will present themselves to you with more than one people. There will be ample opportunities for you once you act on the opportunities for pleasure and joy that you have right now. Whether it is enjoying fun activities with friends, or doing things that make your heart sing, or enjoying a wonderful day, or just getting more enjoyment in general out of life, then you are also opening yourself up to those things in the form of a relationship. Thank you. That was completely new to me. I don't think I've asked that in that way before. I've heard other people say it, but I don't think it really sank into me. And now you're hearing me say it, but I hope that whoever needed to hear that really heard it. It was very empowering. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your questions. I really welcome more questions. I would so appreciate more questions. Thank you to Lada, what many of you guys maybe know already or maybe not, but she's such an amazing partner to work with. She is as wonderful behind the scenes as she is in front of the camera with you guys. She is truly amazing. Thank you so much thank you, Lada, for trusting me with these channelings. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for having my back. Thank you for allowing me to help the people on your platform. And thank you, everyone listening. Thank you to Spirit. I appreciate you guys. I hope that this hit home. I hope that this was valuable to you guys. It really has been to me. And it really warms my heart that you guys are joining me with this and we can do this together. I wouldn't be able to align with my purpose, which is this spiritual work, if there wasn't and people that needed it. So thank you so much. I am so grateful. I hope that is coming across. I am so grateful and thankful. Thank you. Bye.